Good afternoon. On behalf of Joan, Danielle, Mark, and the family, we'd like to thank you all for joining us in this celebration of life for Curtis. A special thanks to family and friends who have traveled to be here today. Actually, it looks like Curtis got one more powder day after all. My name is Michael Johnson, and this is Rory Reinbold. We've been business partners, co-workers, hockey teammates, and most importantly, friends with Curtis for the last 23 years. First at McAlpine and Company, and in the last year before Curtis retired with M&P. We're doing this together, as talking about all that Curtis did and how much he meant to us all. It was definitely a two-person job.
Welcome, everyone. Mike's taller than me here. Curtis's death was a tragic, sudden loss for all of us. We're here today to share memories of Curtis, which we hope will provide some level of comfort to everyone in the grieving process. In addition to working with Curtis, I was a friend of Curtis's and his family in my childhood, having both grown up in the same hometown. My childhood connection with Curtis is the reason my family and I came to Terrace. I'd like to share with you a bit of Curtis's early years and what I will call the McAlpine years. Curtis was born on April 1st, 1959 in Fort St. John to his parents Ed and Doris, and was raised on the family farm in the community of Beldonald, just outside of Fort St. John. Curtis enjoyed the farm and growing up in Fort St. John with his three brothers, Wade, Kent, and Brett. Curtis was the eldest, and his brothers looked up to him for advice and support, much like I'm sure most of us gathered here today have, at one time or another. Curtis and his brothers all played minor hockey growing up, at times playing on the same team and at times against one another. As grown-ups, the Billy boys all played hockey in a hockey tournament together with their dad, Ed, as coach. This was a fond memory for all, but I bet the fondest for Ed, who was very proud of his boys. I had a chance to play with three of the Billy boys in my younger days. All were great hockey players, but if I had to say who had the most talent as a hockey player, today's answer is Curtis. Sorry, guys. Curtis really did excel at hockey. He left home at an early age to play a year of Junior B in Smithers, which was his first time in Northwest BC. He then played a year of Junior A hockey in Kamloops in the BC Junior League. He returned home to the North Peace to attend college in Grand Prairie, and eventually back to Fort St. John, where he played his final years of junior hockey. Curtis married Joan, his college sweetheart, in 1980, and after their Fort St. John days moved to Edmonton. Their first big adventure was traveling to Europe. Curtis and Joan made the most of their time in Edmonton, getting their university degrees, celebrating the birth of their children, Danielle and Mark, and beginning their careers. Curtis received his chartered accountant designation in Edmonton with the firm Deloitte Haskins & Sells. Curtis and Joan then embarked on another adventure, transferring with his firm to work and live in Australia with their young family. Curtis's eyes would light up when he spoke of his time in Australia. They moved to Terrace in 1992, where Curtis joined Al McAlpine, Howard Pruner, and Jim Riding as partners with McAlpine and Company, where Curtis practiced for the next 24 years until McAlpine merged with MNP. Curtis proved to be a valuable business partner. With his genuine personality and helpful, friendly nature, Curtis grew McAlpine's client volume significantly. Curtis was a hard worker. When things needed to get done, he was first to put his hand up, whether internally within the daily running of a practice or with his clients. Serving the firm's clients well was Curtis's main priority. His organizational skills were second to none. He set goals, met deadlines, and achieved. Curtis wanted his clients to succeed and his staff and partners to succeed as well. I'm pretty sure many of you have driven by our office late at night or on weekends and spied Curtis's shiny head through his office window. Hard work. Even in retirement, Curtis regularly came by to offer his assistance. That's the kind of guy Curtis was. On one of his last office visits, I told him that I really missed having him in the office down the hall. and asked if he'd just please come back. His exact words were, "No way," which he said with his trademark smile. Retirement life was good, and his work was done. He'd put in his shift.
Family was central in Curtis's life. He passed on his active lifestyle and love of the outdoors to Danielle and Mark. They had many fond memories of summers at the lake and winters on the ski hill. He coached both soccer and hockey and spent countless hours supporting them in brunette, mountain biking, and other adventures. The only skill they never learned from him was how to do their taxes. Even with a busy practice and a growing family, Curtis was always found the time to nurture friendships, volunteer in the community, and live life large. He was instrumental in the creation of My Mountain Co-op to save the Shames Mountain Ski Hill and served as a founding director. He was also a longtime director of the Northwest Regional Airport Society and served as the treasurer of the Terrace Youth Soccer Association and as a dedicated product tester for the Sherwood Brewery. Curtis was a natural athlete who enjoyed mountain biking, hiking, kayaking, and especially skiing, then snowboarding, and then finally skiing again. As Rory mentioned, hockey was a big part of Curtis's life. His passion for the game led to his son Mark playing minor hockey in Terrace with Curtis helping coach, and to Curtis's eventual stardom with the SRD Blues Old Timers team. Given his competitive nature, he was intent on continuing playing until he turned 60, so he could surpass his good friend and SRD Blues old guy record holder Tony Moore. His SRD teammates, especially Carl, our goalie, always felt better about our chances when Curtis walked through the door to play defense. Curtis treasured the bonds of friendship that he developed with a wide range of individuals through all areas of his work and play. He was always up for a hike, a bike ride, a ski trip, and even the odd golf game, and was usually at the front of the pack in everything that he did. He also became a runner and finished his second half marathon this spring. That is quite an accomplishment because Curtis didn't really have the typical runner's body. And a good thing is Curtis's love of food will be well remembered, especially when there were treats in the coffee room. Upon retiring in December 2016, he began to pursue his passions more fully, including countless hours on Friday nights with his buddies building cedar strip kayaks, which you can see on the stage. Talking to Curtis about all that he was up to always made me want to give him a high five and then sit down and have a rest. Curtis also loved to travel and adventure around the world. Just a few of his highlights were hiking and volunteering with friends Joan and Danielle in Nepal, cycling with Joan in Croatia, going to San Francisco with Joan, Mark, and Danielle, skiing and mountain biking in Revelstoke in the BC interior with the COGs, mountain biking in Utah with friends and family last spring, traveling to see the real Cuba with Joan immediately following his retirement. He was out of the country in case we tried to call him back to work. And an epic adventure in Portugal, Spain, and Morocco that included riding a camel. The great thing is that most of these trips all happened in the last year, so Curtis was really doing it all. Curtis was always looking forward to the next trip and had just purchased a new tent and road bike for his trip to South Korea with Danielle and was planning a spring mountain biking trip with his friends. He was also a pretty handy guy and was looking forward to helping Mark and Rhiannon with their new house. It is good that there was lots of room on the Merkley property, as Curtis was always buying toys for adventure, including a trailer, a snowmobile, and was even planning for new skis.
In September, our office held a retirement party for Curtis and Joan. I now feel fortunate that I was able to express to Curtis, on behalf of our office, how we all felt about him as a partner and a friend. I mentioned at his retirement party that top of mind for me with Curtis was he and Joan welcoming my wife Linda and our young family to Terrace, introducing us to their friends, having many dinners at the Billeys with Joan whipping something up like she does, with Mark and Danielle playing with and welcoming our kids, Curtis getting me back into hockey, taking me fishing, and taking me on his adventures. Linda and I both felt he and Joan had our backs, and that was always comforting. Throughout the years, I learned that this was Curtis's way. I was one of many that experienced Curtis's generosity and genuine friendship. I truly felt that he was part of my family and we were a part of his. When you work with someone for over 20 years, a lot is shared. We would share family and personal triumphs, and sometimes struggles. Family was first and foremost for Curtis. He and Joan both came from large families where they learned the value of family, continued to keep family close through many visits. Curtis had special relationships with his parents and his brothers and with the Holland family and spoke highly of all of them. He was always excited to fill me in on the adventures of his many family trips. Last fall, he was thrilled to be able to take his mom Doris, just he and she, on a trip up the California coast, and was happy to see Doris settling into her new Kelowna home. Curtis spoke highly of Joan and was proud of her as a mother and a teacher. He was always excited when he was able to convince her to go on a Curtis adventure. He believed he was a lucky man to have Joan as his wife and was looking forward to their retirement years together. Curtis was very happy to see Danielle and Mark follow in his adventure footsteps. He marveled at how hard Danielle had worked through school and university to accomplish her goals and enjoyed travel and other adventures with her. He was a little concerned, though, that Danielle's career as a dietitian might put a damper on his eating habits. Joan had an ally in keeping Curtis on the proper meal plan. Curtis was thrilled to watch Mark perform in his band and shared how much he enjoyed Mark and his pals sitting around a campfire, playing guitar and singing songs. Given Curtis loved to tinker, he was happy to have a carpenter and mechanic at his fingertips. Curtis really loved his family. Curtis spoke often of his terrace friend group and thoroughly enjoyed his socializing and the adventures. He spoke often of his close friendship and special bond with George Goff, who was ready, willing, and able to chug along with Curtis on his many adventures. Curtis also truly cared for his staff at the office. He enjoyed the teamwork, the sharing of successes and challenges, the office parties, camaraderie. He'd pop in regularly just to chat with staff after his retirement. The staff enjoyed teasing Curtis, and he seemed to enjoy it and counter it as well. Many of Curtis's clients are here today. Curtis's favorite part of his work was getting to know each of you. It was the relationships that he made with his clients during his career that he enjoyed the most. We appreciated hearing from you last week, offering your condolences. The common words we heard regarding Curtis: genuine, friendly, true gentleman, helpful, sincere, wise. I used to joke with Curtis about how he could fall asleep in the blink of an eye, but he had to. He filled up every day. I heard a line in a song the other day: the days seem long, but the years fly by. Pretty sure Curtis's days didn't seem long to him as he tried to fit just one more activity in before the day was out. Family, work, community, adventure. Curtis found the right balance, and he did it all well. Life will not be the same without you. Good shift, Curtis. Good shift.
Now there are a few more people who would like to share some thoughts with us. First, Curtis's brother Ray would like to say a few words on behalf of the family.
Mike. You think Mike stop? I'm Wade, Curtis's brother, and I should start this by saying what I'm going to read. I'm speaking on behalf of my brothers Kent and Brett. I was closest in age to Curtis, so my brothers voted me in as a speaker. Imagine that, I would vote 2-3. We have lots of memories of Curtis from the farm. We worked hard on the farm, but we also had a lot of fun. One of the things we remember is after we finished doing some work, we were always slow plodding up to the fields. But as soon as done, we would head back to the house as fast as we could go. And Curtis's rule, as he was usually the driver of the tractor pulling the stone sled, if one of us fell off, or Brett would say got pushed off, Curtis would just keep on driving, you had to run to keep up. Sometimes we would be hauling bales, of course with Curtis driving, and fill up the truck, each load a little more bales, until it was too full, and we'd have bales dropping off onto the Alaska Highway, and we'd be always caught stopping and picking bales up out of the ditch. We all remember Curtis accidentally started the loaded grain truck in the field on fire, and we all had to pitch in with so many buckets of water to put it out. You notice there's a theme there? He's always the one driving, causing the issues. Curtis spent a lot of his teens away from home playing hockey. And then when he and Joan went off to school and traveling Europe, there would be times he wouldn't see us for months. He was very busy. He returned from Europe that year, and had to ask, who was that out on the tractor? It was Brett. They'd been away a long time. Curtis's birthday was in Prince George one year when we'd have an old-timers hockey team into an old-timers tournament. And it just happened to be on his birthday, so we sang him happy birthday in front of him on the ice before the start of the game. He wasn't very impressed when everybody, including the other team, the referees, joined in. Then, after the game, a bunch of friends held him down, Kent, Brett, and maybe me. We covered him with whipped cream. All I can remember, that's what brothers do. And the whole time that he fought us, I can just remember in that big pile of whipped cream, we just saw this big smile sticking out that he always had. Curtis was a great hockey player. Yes, and I agree, he probably was the best of us all. We don't take that personally. But sometimes he needed me to have his back. I was always the small little enforcer. He was good enough of a hockey player that he'd take the puck away from big guys who'd get a little annoyed, and I'd have to intervene, and that's why I probably never finished a lot of games. But we were the Billy boys, and we stuck together. At home, growing up, we were very competitive, had lots of fun, and sometimes the fun playing ball, playing hockey, resulted in physical disagreements. Mom and Dad would have to come and referee, and we'd get a timeout, or sent to the field to pick stones. One year, when we were on opposite teams, I was playing for Fort St. John, he was playing for Grand Prairie. We had a game in Fort St. John, went to overtime, and I scored the overtime winner for my team. After the game, Curtis and I met upstairs in the lobby and were talking, and just as he was leaving, he turned around to me and said, "Nice goal, by the way. Do that again, I'm gonna get even with you." I do remember I had to run behind the tractor an awful lot that summer. Brett would say he had to live up to the Billy boys' reputation because he was the youngest. By the time he showed up in school or hockey, they already knew what to expect, and he was always put at the front of the bus. We're gonna miss him. He was our big brother. We learned a lot. And on behalf of Kent and Brett, I just want to say thanks to Curtis for being a big brother. Thank you.
Are those three of Curtis's brothers?
Thanks, guys. And now Meredith Skimpson, would you like to share a few words on behalf of My Mountain Co-op?
Hello. This afternoon, it is my great honor to speak about Curtis's involvement in My Mountain Co-op. It was my privilege to serve with Curtis on the co-op's first board of directors. As a founding director, he approached his role in the cooperative with a quiet and positive attitude. As a natural leader, he was always kind, patient, and extremely thorough. He is greatly missed by the many people he volunteered with, but he has left his community a wonderful legacy, My Mountain Co-op, Shames Mountain. The story of his involvement with the co-op begins with passion, the passion of ski, the love of the outdoors, and a great respect and love for our community. In 2011, a group called Friends of Shames had been exploring business models to determine what could be the best option for purchasing and operating the Shames Mountain ski area. At this time, Shames had been for sale for about 7 years and was pretty much primed to close. We determined that a community service, nonprofit cooperative model would be the best fit. One of the jobs at Friends of Shames was to determine who would volunteer to run a one-of-a-kind cooperative and what kind of team would be able to help gain the community support needed to get this off the ground. One day, Linda Parker, a director of Friends of Shames, arrived with a quiet smile and a twinkle in her eye as she presented Curtis, a skier and also an accountant, as the new member of the team. My dad was an accountant, so I was partial already. I immediately felt my confidence soar upon my first handshake and smile. And then over the weeks and months and years of working with Curtis, I was able to see his full skill set at work and know that Linda, she had found the one person in our community who was able to lead the launching of the cooperative successfully. To truly be part of a cooperative, you must be a citizen of the co-op, to truly be an ambassador. We built our co-op on 4 cornerstones: collaboration, affordability, sustainability, and innovation. Curtis embodied being a citizen of the co-op to a T, and he made certain that all of our decisions reflected our cornerstones and that together we could create a strong foundation to grow from. His ability to navigate hurdles was unparalleled. He was an effective negotiator with the Shames Mountain Ski Corporation to buy the ski hill. He renegotiated our government loans with apparent ease. His long-standing relationships and respect in the community bolstered our cause like no other. He presented at city council meetings, rotaries, chamber meetings, and gained their support. He comfortably sat at the big tables with Rio Tinto, the port, the regional district, and convinced these groups that even though we were trying something entirely new, we deserved both their support socially and fiscally. And Curtis could do the paperwork. And wow, could he ever, because since we were doing something for the first time, there was no handbook. So he was able to work with our lawyer to ensure that we became a legal entity. Curtis was our champion. His participation in the co-op did not stop with his involvement at the board level. In truth, if there had been somebody else to do all that paperwork, he would have been just fine with that. It would have freed him up to do as much hands-on work as possible, but instead he did both. He loved to be outside and hands-on and spent ample time brushing the ski hill runs, operating the chainsaw, painting, building, repairing, even insulating. As a founding director, Curtis also played a large part in hiring our wonderful general manager, Christian DeBerge. And I will tell you, he liked Christian right from the get-go, since Christian arrived to his interview in his work boots. Curtis frequently invited Christian over for family dinners and became a very special mentor and friend to Christian. Over the past 7 years, Curtis worked closely with Christian to set the budget for the ski hill, gently guide the business to better practices, and was perpetually available for consulting and the occasional problem solving. Curtis took the time to let me know that you were doing a good job. When I took my place as chair of the board, he encouraged and supported me. And well, even just a few weeks ago, he was in our town office letting April know how much he appreciated her time and dedication. I am so grateful that Curtis was such a committed volunteer and that he used all of his time, talent, and vision to improve the lives of so many. Shames employs over 60 people. It connects the community of the Northwest. It provides a playground for young families and those young at heart. In preparing for today, I spoke with numerous past and present board members, as well as staff of my mountain co-op, Shames Mountain. And all of them really felt that Curtis had touched their lives in a positive way, whether they knew him personally or not. I am forever inspired to work to improve my community because of working with Curtis. I would like to thank Joan for supporting him in his passion of the cooperative, because surely this meant other chores at home did not get done. Spare time was spent crossing I's and dotting I's, crossing T's, and there must have been many, many kitchen conversations about the co-op instead of other fun things. And I would also like to extend a huge thanks on behalf of the cooperative to all those who supported the co-op because of Curtis. We appreciate all your good faith, donations, and help as we continue to grow. In sharing the story of his involvement, I'm sure I've left out many things, but what is important to me and to the cooperative is that we truly honor Curtis's commitment and dedication, and that we acknowledge his unique and pivotal role. Curtis set the co-op on a long-term path for success. It is part of his legacy. And because of Curtis, our community is forever changed and so much richer. He truly deserves to be celebrated. Thank you.
Thanks, Meredith. And now Aaron Reimer would like to share some thought about her time with Curtis at MNP.
Hi, my name is Erin Reimer. I started working with Curtis when I moved back to Terrace in 2014. Curtis was my mentor, but during the time I had the pleasure of knowing him, he also became a very dear friend. Curtis was a legend in our office. Ever since I started working here, people would tell tales of his antics and his love of a good office party. He was game for anything. I remember one office Christmas gift exchange when he was so excited to play the game Exploding Kittens, the not safe for work edition, of course, even though I don't think he actually knew what it was. He poured a mean drink and always made sure everyone's glass was full. And then, after he poured drinks all night, he was the one who made sure everyone made it home safe. He was an enthusiastic and very caring guy. Sometimes Curtis would wander around the office with a twinkle in his eye and an impish grin that usually meant he was up to something, like putting Rory's truck on blocks or some other silly prank. He had the ability to draw everyone in on the fun and always brought laughter to the office. One thing everyone enjoyed about Curtis was his love of food. Whenever we had cake or donuts at the office, I always wondered how many pieces he actually ate during the day, as I noticed him sneaking back for more. I think because of all his adventures, he could get away with it, as he never looked like he ate all that food. I was very drawn to Curtis and enjoyed working with him because of his quiet and calm demeanor. He valued relationships over work and took the time to be kind to everyone. He was always quick to praise for a job well done. My favorite thing about Curtis was how he loved to connect with people by telling them of his adventures. I'm sure most of my colleagues can identify with this. I would often rush into his office about something work-related and would end up taking a seat while he pointed out the window at the various mountains he had hiked or showed me pictures of his most recent trip. He always had fantastic stories for each adventure he went on. genuine, kind, and fun-loving. When it came time for him to retire, I realized that it wasn't just our office team that loved him, it was his clients too. Over the years, many of his clients had become his close, personal friends and adventure buddies. I had the pleasure of meeting many of these friends and clients when Curtis took me out on adventures with him and proudly introduced me to everyone he knew. That is the kind of guy he was, though. His love of people and what he did just drew people to him. Curtis inspired me and those around him to live a life of adventure. He was the master of living life to the fullest. In the career we do, we are constantly bombarded by deadlines, and it is easy to lose sight of what is important. But Curtis never did. He was always the first to invite people on his adventures, whether it was a colleague's grandchild, friends, or a client. He would bring anyone who wanted to come. He would even pick you up and lend you the gear you needed. Over the last few years, Curtis taught me many things. He taught me to mountain bike, build community, and how to love life. His joy, enthusiasm, and zest for life were contagious, as were his smile and his laugh. I'm going to miss his sense of humor and that twinkle in his eye when you knew he was up to something. Curtis leaves behind a legacy and an example of how to live life. While he is gone far too early, he had a life well lived, and he never wasted a moment.
Thanks, Aaron. Now we're Curtis's good friends George Goff and Dave Stewart to share some thoughts.
As I said, my name is George, and I'm one of many good friends of Percy. Whether you were a colleague, a client, a part of the business community, or a family member, my guess is that you would also consider Curtis a friend. We are all recipients of the generous, kind, inclusive, caring way that he treated us all. My focus today is going to be about exactly that. Curtis as a friend. He was so much more, as we have heard, but Curtis's friendship is where I fit in. The words that I speak today are the words of our close mutual friends. As we are here celebrating the life of our friend, it is impossible to ignore the tragedy of death. Curtis lived life to the fullest, and there are many of us here that were the lucky beneficiaries of his zest for life. We love Curtis so much, and it's hard to imagine a life without him in it. He was taken far too soon and unexpectedly. His death has impacted our close-knit group of friends in a way that none of us would have ever expected. I, for one, took his friendship for granted and had no idea of the impact that his had on my life until it was too late. Every ride, paddle, hike, walk, and ski that we do, we'll be missing something for the rest of our lives. It's true that he had a great life, and we will remember the good times forever. The sad part is that we will not have him by our side to enjoy the good times that are yet to come. He was always game to do everything. He took an active part in every adventure. He was the go-to guy that many of his friends depended on when they just wanted to just do something. We just knew that he would always say yes. No was not in his vocabulary when it came to his friends. He had an infectious way of getting people to push beyond their limits and step out of their comfort zones. But he was also the guy that always checked in to be sure you were okay. Whether it was during an aggressive skiing, a long, arduous bike ride, or a tough day on the trail. As many of you know, Curtis and many of his closest friends have been building cedar strip kayaks. Nothing displays Curtis's friendship qualities better than what he had built with our lucky group of guys. He's had many accomplishments over his lifetime, but when it comes to friendship, this was his crown achievement. He has changed 6 guys' lives forever in a very profound way. He and Joan offered up the shop 5 years ago, and Curtis has invited us to our man meetings at what we affectionately called the strip club. We meet every Friday night to discuss the past week's events, make plans, laugh a lot, drink beer, and eat peanuts, or pistachios when Jeff spoils us. Sometimes we even make some sawdust and actually build kayaks. Curtis's inclusive nature, generosity, thoughtfulness, and vision created something that is extremely special. I know that many people speak of our strip club in awe. This is all because of Curtis. He has created this, and we will be forever indebted to him for this experience and life lesson. Peter said that some of his favorite memories of Curtis were after the dusted Sunlit Strip Club. And the rest of the guys had called it a night. He and Curtis would sit in front of the fire till the wee hours of the morning, discussing anything and everything. Dave also had a recent conversation with Curtis to thank him for inviting him to join the strip club. He expressed the strip club is far bigger than our Friday meetings. It is where we organize ski, paddle, or bike trips, and various projects with each other. And always humble Curtis responded by simply stating that it was good for him as well. After being witness to the tight bond that was built at the strip club, Joan's sister Diane coined the phrase brother husbands to describe our dedication to Curtis, Joan, Danielle, and Mark. This dedication will continue on to support Joan and the kids. Joan may be the only wife around that gets her honey-do list completed. Maybe, we are men after all. Strip club will never be the same, but Norm summed up what Curtis has created in this beautiful way. Our bond of friendship has grown ever stronger, and our commitment to Curtis will be to ensure that it continues to grow to honor his faith in us. After many hours spent at the strip club, we did actually get some boats built. We didn't build these things to hang practical minimalist. He left his tent at home and only brought a thin tarp and a sleeping bag. As you would guess, our northwest weather rolled in, and he soon realized that his tarp was not going to be enough to protect him from the elements. Curtis sheepishly asked to bunk with me in my chalet, as he condescendingly called my very large. So that was a win. This trip is one of my fondest memories. Curtis also did another trip
We're off to the airport where Kim, Lena, and Jeff took the first helicopter trip along with a week's supply of food and supplies for the lodge. The rest of us were to drive to a staging area at Sinclair Mills, which is about an hour and a half's drive northeast of Prince George on the north side of the Fraser River. We took 2 cars. It looked great. Lots of big open alpine bowls and long blades in the trees to valley bottom. At the lodge, we were greeted by our hosts and guides, Craig and Bonnie. Once we got our bags stowed and fought over the beds, we donned our ski gear and joined Craig for beacon practice and a hike to the top of a nearby ridge to ski home bowl. I think the guys like to see everyone ski so they can assess how much work they might have ahead of them for the next week. Craig led. See a single person without a huge smile at the bottom of every run. There's a town in South Korea that has a whole street completely dedicated to everything pork. Nobody slept late in the mornings. I suspect it might have been because there's only one outhouse. So there was a bit of a race out the door in the morning. Curtis managed to entertain himself and us by drawing self-portraits in the snow along the path to the outhouse and shower. The likeness was uncanny. He really nailed the hair. A very memorable day was Friday. We got 10 to 15 centimeters of fresh snow Thursday night, so a new canvas was drawn up. It was ready for us to play on. We headed up to a ridge in a huge area called Porcupine Bowl, where the challenge was to make as many link turns as you could. I believe Lena won. Take some comfort in knowing that Curtis and all of us were doing exactly as we wanted to do, doing what we loved, some of our closest friends. The healing process is a long journey. With the help of this amazing community and close friends, we will get through the pain and the sadness and remember the joy that Curtis brought to us all. Thank you.
I wasn't going to say this part, but I feel I can now. Everyone else is doing it. Might I can. Name that his good friend Kim bestowed upon him. He hated the name, but he lived up to it with a passion. He was always the first one to offer his taste buds to try an unknown food when traveling. Kim says that Curtis was his food barometer. If Curtis said it was good, or really good, it was edible. If his review of the strange food was okay or not bad, these were indicators that this food must be avoided at all costs. Percy very eloquently summed up Curtis's appetite like this. Curtis could eat a horse and still have room to chase down the rider. Whether it be hiking, biking, kayaking, or skiing, many of our fondest memories are from our adventures and misadventures with Curtis. Yes, we have made a few bad decisions over the years. I can feel the piercing looks from our wives as I speak, but they have good reason. We drug them along, and some of them as well. Remember the overnighter of Sleeping Beauty, Joan and Patty? The list of these adventures is long, providing a long. The list of these adventures is long, providing a lifetime of memories. We'll miss reliving these moments when we are older and grayer. I know that the memory of his big, toothy grin, chiclets as Kim calls them, will carry us through the rough times, knowing that he would want the adventures and equally memorable misadventures to continue. In closing, I have one final story to leave with you. Rob told me of a conversation that he had with Curtis after their final hockey game of the season. Rob questioned Curtis and asked if he was worried about backcountry skiing due to avalanche risk. Curtis was quick to reply, "It's okay." I would have a smile on my face. We all know that smile. That is how I remember Curtis. I would like to thank the Strip Club and many of Curtis's other friends for their support and input. Curtis's life and death are part of who we are now. In Curtis's honor, over the past week, countless friends have come together to support Joan, Danielle, and Mark, and each other. It is a beautiful thing to see us be the friends that Curtis was to us. A very special thank you to the fortunate, yet unfortunate people that were with Curtis on that fateful ski trip. Thanks to you, he spent an incredible week skiing with great friends, doing exactly what he wanted to do. Hold on to those memories. My thoughts are with you as you work through this incredible, difficult time. Curtis will continue to live on in our memories and with each and every one of the friends that he and Joan have brought together. They have created a network of friends that will help each other along this rough road and through to the next adventure. Curtis never missed an adventure with us, and he never will. With guidance from the family, Norm and Darren have thoughtfully created a slideshow to honor Curtis's life. I invite you to take this time to reflect on the ways that Curtis has touched yours.
As George mentioned, we'll have a slideshow prepared by Curtis's friends Norm Perry and Darren Davis. Show us a few snaps of Curtis's life.
Jesus cries to himself, sunk deep into his chair. Tell your brother not listening to his dreams. Tell your sister she is all you need. Tell your mother she is the only one. And your father has made you all that you've become.
mistake. Oh, I cannot hear the sailors cry, smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mistake. Where that foghorn blows, I will be coming home. Yeah, where the foghorn blows, I wanna hear it. I don't have to fear that I want to gypsy soul. Just like way back in the day in the road. Yeah, magnificently we will go until the last day. You know I will be coming home. Yeah, when that foghorn whistle blows, I gotta hear it. I don't have to fear it. I'm gonna gypsy soul. Just like way back in the day in the road. And together we will go. And till the best day. Come on, girl. Will they stop?
trying to do different aspects of the trip. Now it's the morning ritual. Video.
Oh, it's video. Okay. Video is a phone that's.
One day you'll be gone, I know that time will come. Someday I'll follow you when my work is done. One day you'll be gone, I know that time will come. Someday I'll follow you when my work is done. If I was not your little boy, rolling like a train, still I'd ride the rails for you to hell and back again. This heartache's a lonely path that pulls you around the bend. You find the ones who love you when you reach the story's end. One day you'll be gone, I know that time will come. Someday I'll follow you when my work is done.
Looking good. Under him. Straight line and push.
Hardships and broken dreams is all you ever known. Trying to live a better life and call us house or home. High winds and broken clouds, the angels must have cried when they saw you gaze at me with the loving in your eyes. One day you'll be gone, I know that time will come. Someday I'll follow you when my work is done. Hardships and broken dreams is all you've ever known. Trying to live a better life than call us house or home. High winds and broken clouds, the angels must have cried when they saw you gaze at me with the loving in your eyes. One day you'll be gone, I know that time will come. Someday I'll follow you when my work is done. That chip upon my shoulder is a long and sorry tale. Hold a hammer tight enough, the world looks like a nail. I'm rolling down the tracks, I'm a little red caboose. I'm chasing all my demons down so I can sing the blues. You stay up, I stay down, but most come back to heaven. Up and down, high and low, you always been my friend. You've been a friend to me. I got 70. Yeah, I ain't too proud to say you've been a friend to me. If I feel low down, feel 10 feet tall, feel the wind, shape my head, come out of you out, you've been a friend to me. I got 70. I ain't too proud to so I can sing the blues. One day you'll be gone, I know that time will come. Someday I'll follow you when my work is done. One day you'll be gone, I know that time will come. Someday I'll follow you when my work is done. When my work is done. Yeah, baby! Bring it on.
when Curtis and Joan joined friends traveling in Morocco, Percy Gavronsky took his ukulele to get the group singing. The Rockin Morocans are going to perform a song about friendship today now. Just be a moment to set them up. So if you look on the back of your program, the words to the song are on the back, and then the group would like you to sing if you feel up to it. Thanks. I think we need one more hand for the Rockin Morocans. Thanks, guys. Joan, Danielle, and Mark, I'd like to thank you all again for joining us today. From your presence and from all the messages received by the family and through our office, I can see that our community will be here to support them in the same way that Curtis supported us all. I apologize for speaking account, but the bottom line is that Curtis was a kind and friendly guy who loved his family and friends, the outdoors, and this community. He will be deeply missed. Thank you. Please join us for refreshments and remembrances at the Skinny Valley Golf Course this afternoon.
Thanks a lot, man.